Water is the one of the most important resources for every living things on earth. If there was no water, there would be no life on earth. The usage of clean water is crucial because it can provide us for hygiene, food, and drink, and also to perform religious practice, praying. The main sources of water comes from the surface water, springs, dams, and the common river and lakes. These sources of water must be protected from being polluted by the external factors. This is because polluted water can be harmful to those who use it. In the past few years, the two states of Kuala Lumpur and Selangor have faced many clean water sources problems. In this issue has become a problem for these two states citizens to perform their daily activities. This is due to the water pollution that keeps on happening in that two area. The contamination of the river usually comes from the waste dumped from the factories nearby the water banks. Despite many complaints or initiatives that were done for curb this problem, it keeps on happening.
The main river pollutants are domestic sewage, waste from livestock, farms, runoff from the towns, slip from earthworks, leachate from the rubbish dumps, litters from the riverside squatters, and mining waste. The water from the river flows and affects the quality of the water. The issue and the main concern of the people of Selangor and Kuala Lumpur is the shortage of water that often jeopardizes daily life activities, as it occurs quite often that brought up rage among the public that live in the area affected. According to the Ministry of Water, Land and Natural Resources, also known as CATS, latest available figures shows that Selangor is consistently the state that suffers the most number of unscheduled water supply interruptions for the year of 2014 to 2017. The cause of this shortage mostly due to burst pipes, leakage and pollutations. Therefore, the authorities have no choice but to cut and fix immediately in order to control and monitor the quality of water used by the people. The implementation of the Integrated River Basin Management (IRBM) concept is a collaboration between the government of Malaysia and Denmark, whereby it is laid out in the 8th Malaysian Plan, which is a 5-year plan in the year of 2005 until 2010. The main state component of this concept is the Selangor River Basin, which is the main source of water for drinking, especially for Kuala Lumpur and the Klang Valley area. All these efforts are done to reduce environmental problems and improve water management.
According to Datuk Seri Zaini Ujang, one of the reasons water disruptions keep happening in Selangor is because the state has a very little treated water reserve. Water supply and distribution system had been barely upgraded, which led to the occurrence of burst pipe frequently. One burst pipe will cut off the water supply for a whole area at least. Selangor and the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya share the same water resources. Domestic sewage discharge in the form of treated sewage remains a large contributor of organic pollution. The contaminated water produce smelly odor which is impossible for people to consume. In addition to that, lack of enforcement is another major challenge to ensure the water environment keeps on preserved. It plays an important role to ensure publics and industries to comply with the law. Hence, it is possible to monitor these sources all the time. Chemicals were thrown into a sewage hole and flowed to the polluted area. Pollution affecting a river in Selangor could thus affect water supply to parts of the Klang Valley that includes Kuala Lumpur, the administrative city of Putrajaya, and Selangor districts. Businesses dump their waste into rivers due to the exorbitantly high charges demanded by companies contracted to collect their waste. Thus, it contributes to water pollution which frequently happen in Selangor.
Despite the Environmental Quality Act of 1974, which prescribes a fine up to 100,000 ringgit and a jail term of up to 5 years for those found guilty polluting the rivers, cases of water contamination still happen in the area of Selangor and Kuala Lumpur. This has raised the issues on why the water pollution kept on happening, although we have these acts or laws in the constitution. Where are those law enforcers? Did they do their job? Why does there are less cases of water pollution being brought to court while the incident keeps on happening for the past few years? The issues of law enforcement regarding this issue were assumed as weak, doubtful with their enforcement. Furthermore, Human Rights Commission of Malaysia (SUHAKAM) also voiced out their opinions on convincing the government to call for a change for more effective enforcement of laws, including stiffer penalties on perpetrators of water pollution. SUHAKAM also calls on government to realize its commitment to ensure access to clean water for its people through effective enforcement of the existing laws. It adds that the government should also review the laws and policies in order to allow for stern action against the perpetrators of water pollution. The current water pollution over the years has led to frequent disruption of water supply. What can we do with this whole situation? Well, these are the proper solutions that can be used to reduce this whole problem. First, the domestic sewage and the industrial wastewater with high concentration of pollutants should be treated with high efficiency sewage treatment plant to avoid water pollution. Well-designed treatment plants that have additional features should be used to process sewage because of their efficiency, as they have capacity to remove 90% or more of these pollutants. Sewage treatment plants that are malfunctioning should be replaced or repaired immediately. Action should be taken about the households that are not served by an efficient sewage treatment plant and should be immediately connected to dispose sewage off in an appropriate manner. Next solution is the enhancement of laws and regulation regarding the water pollution. In the area of Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, where the water pollution caused by the waste thrown into the river by the factories in that area. Oftentimes, the companies that were caught guilty were only fined by a certain amount of money, which so the company just pay the fine and continue to run again. There should be laws and regulation where it controls the standard operation procedure of managing their waste, especially those factories who involve in hazardous chemical substance. In other words, fines should be increased and the enforcement should be stern when it comes to this matter.
In conclusion, water pollution is a global issue and the whole community is facing the worst results of polluted water. Major resources of pollution are discharge of domestic and agricultural wastes, increase and excessive use of pesticides and fertilizers, urbanization and parasitic disease are spreading through the polluted water and affecting human health. It is recommended that there should be a proper waste disposal system and waste should be treated before entering the river. Educational and awareness programs should be organized to regulate the pollution.